Hi, this is Okidokiboki, and today I'm going to be reviewing the first 3 books in the Lady Julia Gray mystery series by Deanna Raybourn. The first book is Silent in the Grave, the second is Silent in the Sanctuary, and the third is Silent in the Moor. So the series starts in Silent in the Grave with Lady Julia Gray's husband being murdered, and basically she enlists the help of Nicholas Brisbane, who had been working with her husband to solve this case. Over the course of that first book, they work together, they also develop complicated feelings for each other, and this kind of and while they resolve the case in the first book, over the next 2 books they end up working together to solve other cases, and while also trying to navigate their complex relationship. A big part of the complication in their relationship is a lot of the secrets that Brisbane is hiding in his own family history, and that kind of come to a head in the last book. These mysteries are set during the Victorian era, so if you like historical fiction, that might be a good reason to kind of think about it. I initially looked it up because Amazon recommended it to me, and I checked out the first book from the library and bought the other 2 for my holiday travels, and these are definitely mysteries that are set around, all 3 of at least the first 3 books are set around kind of households with deep secrets in them. So if you love that kind of thing, I think that these books do a really good job of building complicated households and complicated secrets. My favorite thing by far about these books were the characters. Lady Julia Gray's family is full of eccentrics, and that means that they're willing to associate with a lot of people that upper class Victorian English people maybe might not have been willing to associate with. She has a lesbian sister who lives openly with her partner, and I think the books, especially by the 3rd book, kind of start to get into the ramifications of what that would look like, or what that could mean for her sister. And I think there's a lot of diversity in terms of race and class going on. At the same time, I feel like these books, it never feels like these books use these identities too cheaply. The one aspect that I'm unsure of, because I'm not really read up well enough on this, is how the book uses Romany characters, because they do factor very, very heavily in this book. I do feel like the writing and the story within the book do try to treat the Romany characters with a lot of warmth, but the thing that for me is a little off-putting, and this is coming very much from my own framework of being a little suspicious of portrayals of non-white characters as mystical, is that this book very much does treat Romany characters as these mystic, like, fortune tellers with a lot of power, and I don't know really how to take that completely, so I think that's something to kind of keep in mind. It does also use a popular word for Romany characters that I've come to understand as a slur, so take that again as you will. I do also feel like a lot of the Romany characters are built out with a lot of depth, and they're not treated as one-dimensional, and they feature prominently in the story in a way that I think gives them kind of a diversity of characterizations, which to me is kind of the most important thing when you're talking about diversity in general. It's not about having 1 or 2 characters represent an identity, it's having a breadth of depictions that portrays that identity, or people belonging to that identity, as, you know, having the kind of complex humanity that, you know, a lot of, for example, white dudes have had in literature. But that doesn't mean that it's not potentially problematic. So if you have a lot of insight into this, please let me know, because I was kind of trying to read through some reviews to see if I could find someone talking about this, and I haven't yet, but I kind of want to better understand this portrayal. And like I said, I think if you like kind of that toxic family mystery element, this is fun. For some reason, I think maybe because I'd read Rebecca right before this, that was kind of the book that I was recalling the most, where it's very much people living in a house and coming to terms with the secrets of that house over the course of the mystery. I think that's very much what all 3 of these books are like. They are very slow-moving mysteries. Sometimes the mystery doesn't even really start until halfway through the book, but if you like getting acquainted with, like, odd characters, I think that you can probably look past that. The weakest part for me of these books was definitely the romance, which was unfortunate because that was actually a big part of what I was looking forward to as a huge fan of romance novels. Nicholas Brisbane and Lady Julia Gray, I see kind of why they care about each other, but I also kind of didn't. Like, they don't really interact that much. It's just that, like, he's handsome, I guess, and she's, like, widowed, I guess. they're not really convincing. It wasn't bad, I just didn't think it was really well done either, and it's kind of one of those books, like, I think you can sometimes tell when an author is uncomfortable writing romance, and this was one of those books where I kind of felt like that, where she was more comfortable writing the character talk about, like, I think I'm in love with this person, but when they're actually in the same room together, like in the book, the author seems less comfortable, like, engaging them in romantic entanglements, both conversationally, physically, whatever. And I think the one other downside to me for this book, and it doesn't really, and I don't want to spoil this too much, I think kind of like with romance where you can get, you know, a little bit too familiar with like a romance author style, you can sometimes get a little bit too like comfortable with your expectations of what a mystery writer is going to do. With romance, I think that's okay. Like, you can get away with that as a romance writer because you're not trying to keep people guessing. In a mystery, if you keep on kind of setting up the mysteries to each produce the same motives for murder, then it gets redundant. It was disappointing to me because otherwise I felt like there were a lot of twists and turns in these books that were really, really well done, and each book on their own, like, if they weren't part of the same series, I would have really enjoyed the mysteries. Because I was reading 3 books in a row that are all connected together and all seemingly have the same similar explanations for murder, I was a little bit frustrated with that. Even with that complaint, this was like a really fun holiday read for me. If you really love that kind of toxic English estate setting, it might be fun. I would recommend checking out Silent in the Grave and just seeing what you think about it. 2 more books left in the series and I might read them. I think it's more for other characters in the book that like have had some shit happen to them and that I want to see like kind of where they go next. It's really not a priority for me right now. I think it'll be more like if the mood strikes me and they're available in the library, maybe I'll give them a shot. Yeah. So yeah, bye.